Disclaimer: this is a hypothetical matchup and, like all predictions, is subjective. This election night is based off of my opinion and other factors, including but not limited to economic models and projections, quality of the candidates, voting trends of states, etc. Good evening and welcome to Election Night 2020 here on November the 3rd. It is Donald J. Trump and Mike Pence, the incumbents, running up against Kanye West and Calvin Broadus. News of the past 4 years. The economy has performed beyond expectations with 12% GDP growth, which was seen over Trump's term. In addition, this is coming with 20% growth in the manufacturing center. Wars have, for the most part, been avoided. North Korea has collapsed into anarchy due to a coup d'etat that removed Kim Jong-un from power. However, no power structure has filled the void. Democrats faced a party insurgency led by Kanye West, who secured the nomination, and his takeover was so complete he was able to name his running mate as Calvin Broadus, better known as Snoop Dogg. The Detest West Dems have refused to vote or even vote for Trump. Others have tried to start write-in campaigns for other Dems or Dem-leaning independents. Some pre-election polling for you guys. Nationally, Trump holds a 13-point lead in the polls, 55-42, and leads in all but one traditional battleground state by comfortable to blowout margins, and leads in a few traditionally blue states, including Minnesota, Trump +8, Connecticut, Trump +3. Kanye West is losing in many states that he should be losing ground in many states that should be locks for Democrats, including New York, West +5, Vermont, West +2, New Jersey, West +1, Rhode Island, West +3, Washington, West +2. A few states are tied, including Oregon, 47 each, Delaware, 48 each. There's a significant write-in campaign in the state of Vermont backing Bernie Sanders, the ever-popular senator from that state. Vermont's complete polling information. West 33, Sanders write-in 30, and Trump 31. And here is what the polling looks like in the map, with states where Trump has a lead of less than 10 points shaded pink, and states where West has a lead of less than 10 shaded light blue. States with a greater than 10-point lead in pre-election polling are shaded dark red or dark blue. Gold states indicate either a third-party candidate is leading or the polls are tied. And it is 6:30 here on the East Coast, and while we don't have any polls closing, we do have states with enough numbers to start reporting, including the state of Indiana with its 11 electoral votes. We project that when the votes are counted, Donald Trump will win the state 65-29, indicating that Kanye West really struggles in rural states. In Kentucky, Donald Trump is expected to win 75-18 when all the votes are counted, and that would give him an additional 8 electoral votes, and we currently have 7% reporting. In the state of Vermont, it is too early to call the state. Donald Trump currently leads 36 to Sanders 33%, with Kanye West bringing in the rear at 31%. We have 5% in, and we'll keep you updated as the night goes on when things change in the state. And this is what the map currently looks like, with Trump having 19 electoral votes and no one else having any. It is 7 o'clock here on the East Coast, getting a little ahead of myself, and we have 3 poll closings in addition to the ones that we've already reported: Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia. In the state of Georgia, a closing call much earlier than the state was called 4 years ago. We project that Donald Trump will win 66% to 30% when the votes are counted. In the state of South Carolina, Donald Trump will carry its 9 electoral votes 70-22 when the votes are counted. And in the state of Virginia, Donald Trump currently leads 80% to 15 with 5% of the vote in. It's too early to call this state, mainly because we don't know the totals from the Northern Virginia area. We have a few rural and Southwest Virginia counties reporting their numbers, and we expect this to narrow over the course of the night. In the state of Vermont, it is still too close to call, but Bernie Sanders actually leads the vote with 34% to Trump's 33% and Kanye West's 31%, and we only have 8% in. And here's the map according to the polls, or according to the results. Donald Trump picking up another 25 electoral votes to add on to his 19 that he already had. And Bernie Sanders would, if the election ended now, finish with a strong total of 3 votes. It is now 7:30 here on the East Coast, and we are going to report on some poll closings from North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia. In the state of West Virginia, we expect its 5 electoral votes to go to Donald Trump. When all the votes are counted, we expect Trump to surpass 90% of the vote in the state, with Kanye West only getting 5. In Ohio, it is too early to call. Trump currently leads in the state 57-36 with 5% reporting. These are mainly rural counties. When we get some results from Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati, we'll let you know. In the state of North Carolina, with its 15 electoral votes, Donald Trump currently leads 54-40%, and we don't really know where there are votes left to be counted, so we'll keep you posted. That's why we haven't made the call yet. In the state of Vermont, it is too close to call. Kanye West leads with 11% of the vote in. He leads 34-33 and 30% for Bernie Sanders. And this is what the map currently looks like. Donald Trump adding another 5 to his total. It is 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we have a bevy of states closing, including Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Florida, Maryland, District of Columbia, not really a state, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Illinois, Missouri, and Oklahoma. In Maine's at-large, we project that Donald Trump will win 81-12 with 8% of the vote in currently. That's what we expect his total to look like at the end of the night. And this is a flip from 2016, the first flip of the night. Maine's second congressional district, we project Donald Trump will win that 92-4. In the state of Alabama, we project Donald Trump will win 73-20 when all the votes are counted, and he will carry those 9 electoral votes. In the state of Mississippi, Donald Trump, we expect him to win the state 70-22 when all the votes are counted. In the state of Tennessee, we expect Donald Trump to win 73-21 when all the votes are counted. In the state of Oklahoma, we expect Donald Trump to win 89-7 when the votes are counted. In the state of Missouri, we expect Donald Trump will win 75-20 when all the votes are counted. Kanye West was not popular in this state at all. And this is a closing call much earlier than most news outlets reported results from Missouri last election in 2016. And Missouri was about 10 points, so this is a vast expansion of the margin. In the state of Massachusetts, with its 11 electoral votes, we project that Kanye West will win the state 54-45 when all the counting is said and done. And I think this indicates that it's going to be a long night for Kanye and a short night for us. And this is Kanye West's first electoral votes. and the first electoral votes received by a millennial candidate. In the state of Maryland, Kanye West is projected to win the state 57-41 when all the votes are counted. And he was also projected to win the District of Columbia 78-19, which is surprising that Trump got 19% of the vote. Perhaps maybe Democrat turnout in the city was very low, but it could just be people hate Kanye that much. His debate performances were not good. They were middling at best and downright appalling at worst, including and he clearly lost the town hall debate, which was widely reported as as the straw that broke the camel's back with regards to Kanye. Because up to that point, he was definitely an underdog, but there was a path, and now there was just no path, many people thought, after that debate. Maine's first congressional district is too early to call, but Trump does maintain a 61-35% lead in the district. In the state of New Hampshire, it is too early to call this state. Trump currently leads 55-41 with 6% in. We don't know where votes are coming from, and we had a lot of conflicting polls in the state. So that's why we haven't made the call there. In the state of Connecticut, it is too early to call this state. Trump currently leads 53-44 with 7% of the vote in. We will keep you posted on this one. In the state of Delaware, Donald Trump leads 56-40 with 6% of the vote in. We will keep you posted on this state as well. In the state of Rhode Island, Kanye West leads 50-48 with 5% of the vote in. In the state of Illinois, it is actually too early to call this state, which is a little bit surprising. Kanye West does lead 54-45. And, these types of calls where we're saying that states like Illinois and Rhode Island and Connecticut are too close to call, this tells you that it's a blowout, and we're just really waiting to see how large of a blowout it is. Donald Trump currently leads in the state of Florida, but is too early to call that state 55-44 with 6% of the vote in. In the state of New Jersey, it is too early to call, and the state is actually dead even right now, 48-48 with 7% of the vote in. State of Pennsylvania, Kanye West currently leads 58-37 with 15% of the vote in. It is also too close to call this state. This is mainly because we have Philly and some of the surrounding area reporting, which is going to be more Democrat than the rest of the state. And we expect that number to narrow over the course of the evening, similar to how Virginia becomes closer for the Democrats over the evening. And this is what the map currently looks like, with Kanye West sitting at 24 electoral votes and Donald Trump many, many more. It is now 8:30 on the East Coast, with Arkansas being the only state closing. And we project that Donald Trump, when all the votes are counted, will carry Arkansas's 6 electoral votes, 78-17, with 9% of the vote reported. And this is what the map currently looks like. It is now 9 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we have a lot of state closings. Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Nebraska, and Kansas. And yes, I did see that New York actually had some results coming in, which showed that Donald Trump was in the lead, but I was not alerted to that. In Louisiana, Donald Trump is expected to win its 8 electoral votes, 75-20, when all the votes are counted. In Texas, we have a closing call. Donald Trump is projected to win the state 66-30. In the state of Arizona, another closing call. We project that Donald Trump will win 61-35 when all the votes are counted. In the state of Wyoming, the most conservative state in the nation, Donald Trump is expected to win 93-5. In the state of North Dakota, Donald Trump is expected to win 78-16. South Dakota, he is projected to win 77-18. In the state of Nebraska, which has 5 electoral votes in all, Trump is projected to win, and the statewide vote is projected to win 71-22. In the 1st Congressional District, Trump is expected to carry 88% of the vote, and Kanye West is in the single digits. In the 2nd Congressional District, the swingier of the the 3 districts, Trump is expected to win 50-48. We can actually make that call at closing tonight. And in the 3rd Congressional District, arguably the most conservative district in the nation, Trump is expected to win 94-3. Just that's almost one-party state. That's almost one-party state status right there. In the state of Kansas, we expect Donald Trump will carry its 6 electoral votes 75-20, 12% of the vote in. In the state of Wisconsin, another closing call. This one is actually a bit surprising. We expected this to be at least somewhat competitive, perhaps, maybe calling it 30 or 40 another hour after closing. Instead, we are able to make this call at closing with 10% of the vote in. We expect when all those votes are counted, Trump will win 57-39. That's a very wide margin. In the state of New Jersey, it is too close to call. Still, we have 16% of the vote in, and Donald Trump currently leads 50-48. And in the state of Rhode Island, it is still too close to call. Donald Trump currently leads 49-48 with 20% of the vote in. In the state of Vermont, it is too close to call. Trump leads 35-32 for Sanders, and Kanye West is pulling up the rear at 31%. And we have 23% of those votes in. In the state of Colorado, with 9 electoral votes, it is too close to call. Donald Trump leads 53-43 with 20% of the vote in. State of Minnesota, Donald Trump currently leads 53-44 with 15% of the vote in. It is too close to call. In the state of Michigan, Donald Trump currently leads Kanye West 50-44 with 12% of the vote in. State of New York, Kanye West leads 51-48, 15% of the vote in, and is too close to call this state. Donald Trump's home state. He would love to flip this state. And he's been running a very aggressive ad campaign in this state, and especially in the New York area, the New York metropolitan area. In the state of New Mexico, it is too close to call. Kanye West currently leads 53-44. And here's what the map currently looks like. And if Trump were to win all the states in pink, he would win the election right now, and he currently is dominating the election. We haven't had any major updates over North Carolina or Virginia. Both are doing what we expect them to. Same with Ohio. We are getting reports that the vote is not narrowing as much as maybe we had expected. It's just the way it works sometimes. It is 10 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we have 4 state closings, and we will probably have a few projections as well from what I'm hearing. Iowa, Montana, Utah, and Nevada are the states that are closing. And in the state of Iowa, we anticipate that Donald Trump will win 67-28 when the votes are counted. This is a closing call, and we expected that to be a closing call tonight. It took some time in 2016, and this year it is solidly in the Republican column. In the state of Utah, we expect Donald Trump will win 79-19 when all the votes are counted. No Evan McMullin this time, so the vote is even more lopsided than it had previously been. In the state of Montana, with its 3 electoral votes, we project Donald Trump wins 75-21 when the votes are counted. In the state of Maine, we anticipate that we can actually project that Donald Trump will win the state of all of Maine's votes, 56-41 in this district, with 45% of the vote reporting. We anticipate that will be the final result. In the state of Virginia, we can actually project this state. Donald Trump will win the state 56-41 when all the votes are counted, which that's a very wide margin. It seems we're not getting a lot of the support for Kanye West we maybe anticipated in the Northern Virginia area. In the state of Ohio, we project that Donald Trump will win the state, which no Republican has ever won the presidency without Ohio. He will win it 59-40, a 19-point margin, and that's much wider than we had anticipated. We expected a 10 to 15-point margin. In the state of Nevada, it is too close to call this state. Donald Trump leads 52-43 with 12% of the vote in. It is too close to call Pennsylvania, but the vote is dead even at 48% apiece with 45% in. In the state of Rhode Island, it is too close to call the state. West currently leads 50-48 with 35% in. In the state of Vermont, West actually has taken the lead with 33%-32 each for Sanders and Trump. 37% of the vote is in. And this is currently what the map looks like with all the updates and with all the new projections. And we're essentially one swing state away from declaring Donald Trump president of the United States. In the following states, we are getting poll closings now here at 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Idaho, Oregon, which does all its voting by mail. Same with Washington. California and Hawaii are both normal voting states, but they are also closing at this time. In the state of Idaho, Donald Trump is projected to win 84-12 with 12% of the vote in. We expect that to be the final margin. In the state of California, Kanye West's current home state, we expect him to carry the state by 13 points, 56-43 when all the voting is done. In the state of Hawaii, we expect Kanye West to carry the state 60-39, just over 20%, and that he will get his 4 electoral votes from that state. And the state of Rhode Island is still too close to call this state with 46% of the vote in. The candidates are tied at 49% apiece. In the state of Pennsylvania, 20 electoral votes at stake here. It is too close to call with 56% of the vote in. Trump leads 52-46. It must mean we're getting the rural counties coming out now. In the state of Oregon, it is too close to call this state. Trump currently leads 50-48. We have 65% of the vote in. Those must be votes that arrived before Election Day. We could have a long night with votes that have gotten in today because they are undoubtedly still counting those. In the state of Washington, it is also too close to call. Kanye West leads 50-46 with 63% of the vote in. Same thing with Oregon. They're probably still counting votes that have gotten in today, and we expect there to still be vote left out as they get more and more of it. In the state of Vermont, it is too close to call. Sanders currently leads 34-32 for West and 31 for Donald Trump, with 46% of the vote in. And again, we're just going to keep you posted on this one because this is pretty major. Bernie Sanders could become the first third-party / independent candidate to win votes since George Wallace won some southern states in 1968. And we actually have some key race alerts, 5 projections New York, Connecticut, Florida, Colorado, and New Mexico are what I'm being told we are projecting. In the state of New York, we expect Kanye West will win Donald Trump's home state 50-48, and that's with 68% of the vote in. We are fairly confident that most of it are in the 4 boroughs not named Staten Island, and that will put Kanye West over the top in that state. In the state of New Mexico, we anticipate that Kanye West will hold the state 56-42%. With 56% of the vote in, we're comfortable enough to make that call. In the state of Connecticut, we can actually project that Donald Trump will carry the state 53-42. That's a very wide margin. Apparently, a lot of the Democrats who said they would flip or just not vote or vote write-in or third party, apparently they were telling the truth, and that's with 76% of the vote in that state. That's a pretty wide margin. I would not expect the Republicans to repeat that in 2024, though. In the state of Florida, we expect Donald Trump will win the state by 13 points with 72% of the vote in. He currently leads by around that, and we expect that to remain steady, and he'll win 55-42. In the state of Colorado, we anticipate that Donald Trump will win 54-45, a 9-point margin, and this is also a flip from 2016. And we can project that Donald Trump is re-elected President of the United States of America, and the current vote count is 299-129. And congrats, and we are hearing reports that Kanye West is going to file for recounts in many, many, many states. And that he will not be conceding tonight. And Trump is expected to give his victory speech later on this evening. We will get you to that as soon as we can. And here's currently what the map looks like. Here, and we see just vast swaths of red. And actually, thank you for returning to us after Donald Trump's victory speech. It is 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we have 6 projections and 2 updates in the key races. Nevada, Michigan, Minnesota, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Washington, and Rhode Island are the states we are going to be either projecting or updating. And in the state of Nevada, Donald Trump is the projected winner, 57-41, and this is a flip from 2016. In the state of Michigan, we expect Donald Trump to win the state, 55-44, and this is a hold from previous election. In the state of Minnesota, we have a flip with Donald Trump winning, 53-45. In the state of Pennsylvania, Trump will hold on there and win 55-42 with 73% of the vote in. We expect him to maintain his 13-point margin. And in the state of Delaware, we can project that Donald Trump will win 53-46, and this is a flip from 2016. In the state of Illinois, we are projecting that Kanye West will win the state 53-46. And in the state of Washington, it is much too close to call. With 79% of the vote in, the candidates are tied 49-49, and they are still counting votes that they got today or yesterday for some of you. And we actually we're going to keep you guys posted on that. In the state of Rhode Island, Kanye West leads 51-47 with 76% of the vote in. It's just too close to call. And we're getting reports that in a lot of places where Trump did poorly in 2016, that the margins have narrowed, and sometimes significantly, just because of maybe how poor Kanye West was as a candidate, And this is a blowout, and that's kind of what it is. Sometimes that's on election night, it's good to have an early night and just be waiting to see how big of a margin it is. Not to see who will win, because you already know. You just want to see how wide it's going to be. And it's looking like it could be very, very, very wide. 1 a.m., not 1:30, my apologies for that, even though I'm not the one who makes our graphics. It's 1 a.m. here on the East Coast, and we have one state closing, and that's Alaska. And we will project that Donald Trump will carry the state 73-20, and that's 3 additional electoral votes for Donald Trump. And we have a few key race alerts, 3 projections, and 1 update. New Jersey, Rhode Island, Oregon, and Washington State. And we project that Donald Trump will win the state of Oregon with 88% of the vote in. We expect that Donald Trump will win the state 50-46 when the votes are counted. And this is a flip from 2016. Another flip from 2016. Donald Trump is projected to win the state of New Jersey 48-44 with 91% of the vote in. We do not see enough votes to overturn that 4-point margin that Donald Trump has built up. And in the state of Rhode Island, we anticipate that Kanye West will win the state 51-49, a very close race. And we see that most of the votes are still coming in from Providence. And that means that Kanye West will carry the state. And that's currently with 93% in. We anticipate him to actually build up to that 51-49 lead. And in the state of Washington, it is too close to call. Kanye West currently leads 50-49 with 81% of the vote in, and we're just going to keep you posted as they get more votes. And in the state of Vermont, it is actually too close to call. Trump currently leads 35-34, with Sanders being the 34, and Kanye West is bringing up the rear at 30%, and that's with 89% of the vote in. They're now counting absentee votes and provisional ballots and the like. So that is we'll keep you posted on that. And this is currently what the map looks like here at 1:30 a.m. And again, we're just wanting to see how large this blowout is. Oh, sorry, it was 1 a.m. It's getting late, as you can tell. It's 1:30 here on the East Coast, and we have 1 projection and 2 updates: New Hampshire, Vermont, and Washington. In the state of New Hampshire, with its 4 electoral votes, we are projecting that Donald Trump will win the state 55-43. The reason we waited this long till we had 91% of the vote in is because we didn't know where the votes were coming from, and we didn't know whether or not there would be a strong write-in campaign, or there were a lot of things we didn't know about this, so we waited to make the call until we were absolutely certain, and we don't see enough votes outstanding to overturn the lead, even if they were all for Kanye West. And this is a flip from 2016. In the state of Vermont, it is much too close to call. It is dead even between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, each with 34% and 30% to Kanye West. And this is with 98% of the vote in. We still cannot call the state. We could be calling the state early next morning or even a few days from now with how this vote is turning out. And Bernie Sanders actually endorsed Kanye West, but he was not the person orchestrating the write-in campaign. This is easily the strongest write-in campaign in U.S. history. In the state of Washington, it is too close to call. Donald Trump currently leads 50-49 with 95% of the vote in. And again, we're going to keep you posted on that. And it just, I think they may be receiving the last of their ballots right now, or at least counting the last of their ballots. And this is currently what the map looks like. We will, again, keep you posted on the two outstanding races. And good morning, by the way. Good morning, America. It is 6 a.m. here on the East Coast, and we have a projection and an update. In the state of Washington, we can project that Donald Trump will win 50 to 48. This is with 97% of the vote in. He's going to maintain that margin and flip the state. He greatly improved his margins in the Seattle and Olympia suburbs, and it seems that he overwhelmingly won the rural areas, excluding on the Olympic Peninsula. And in the state of Vermont, it is too close to call. Donald Trump currently leads 35 to 34%. That is with a little bit of rounding. Kanye West is pulling up the rear at 30%, and this with 99% of the vote in. And it looks like that's going to go to an automatic recount anyway. So we're not going to call this race because it is much, much, much too close to call. And this is currently what the map looks like as we speak. And, of course, Kanye West has filed for many, 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 many recounts in states of Washington, Oregon, New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, Vermont, calling for recounts in Colorado, Nevada, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I mean, there's a point where, file in a close election, yeah, you should probably file for a recount or two, but in this type of election, it's a little silly that he's filing for as many recounts as he is. He's not going to get all of them even granted, let alone they're not going to overturn the margins that he was down in some of these states. Even if he's successful in flipping one or two states back, it's just not going to work. He's lost. He really should concede. And it is now November 9th. And we do finally have the final projection to make in the state. And there were a few recounts, and Kanye West has finally conceded as well. After having most of the recounts declined, Washington's was upheld. I believe New Jersey's was held up as well. Donald Trump did file a recount in New York, but that one was not granted. So far, the results didn't change at all much from election night. Maybe a few hundred votes here or there changed or were thrown out, but nothing that would even make it relevant. But we have the final projection, which of course is the state of Vermont, and we anticipate that Donald Trump would. And we actually have it certified that Donald Trump has won the state of Vermont. And this is, of course, a flip from 2016. The final totals were 34.6% for Trump, 34.4% for Sanders, and 29.1% for Kanye West. And Donald Trump managed to win the state by about 1,500 votes, which is an extremely narrow result. And again, with a lot of these states, don't anticipate the Republicans to hold on to them in 2024. They are not. This was just mostly because Kanye West was a very poor candidate. If they do hold on to states, I doubt it. I doubt most of these states are going to stay in the Republican column. But anyway, we also are going to say that Donald Trump will win the popular vote 59 to 39, a 20-point margin, and we have 85% of precincts reporting in. There are still votes outstanding in California and New York and places like that. And the Electoral College final results, Donald Trump wins 397 to 141, falling just ever so shy of that 400 electoral votes. And this is what it looks like in map form. As you can see, Donald Trump just turning the entire nation red. And maybe that was just because Kanye lost a lot of the nation. Not so much as Donald Trump won it. But Donald Trump's wide margins in the Rust Belt, those can be attributed to him and his economic plan. And we actually have the county breakdown. If you look at it, Kanye West lost a lot of rural and suburban counties that Hillary Clinton won in 2016, and even a few urban counties that she narrowly won. In the state of Vermont, you can see Sanders picking up a few counties, some of the more populous ones in Vermont, with Trump winning a lot of the extra rural counties. Trump greatly improving in the New England area, winning counties in all but one state, and that was Hawaii. We do not have the county results for Alaska, so they are all shaded red. And what this map doesn't tell you is the margins that each candidate won by. Generally speaking, Trump won red counties by overwhelming margins, including flipping, with a few exceptions. For example, San Antonio was a very narrow win. That's Bexar County in Texas. And Trump picking up a lot of counties that he lost in 2016. And what it doesn't tell you is that a lot of the margins in the blue counties were a lot closer than one might expect. For example, Kanye West only won 2 counties in Michigan, 3 in Wisconsin, 2 in Minnesota, 2 in Iowa, 3 in Indiana. Kentucky, he only got 1. Lost every county in Nebraska and Oklahoma. Losing every county in Utah and West Virginia. Winning only 2 counties in normally blue Maine. Losing counties in Massachusetts. And losing enough ground to actually lose Connecticut and make Rhode Island extremely competitive. New Jersey flipping to Donald Trump. Delaware flipping, losing a lot of ground in Maryland, despite the still wide margin. Virginia losing the state because you lose Loudoun County, and as well as losing lots and lots of votes. Not enough to flip the state, not enough to flip the counties, but enough to make them extremely competitive. Fairfax County and Prince William County. And even a few urban areas in Virginia. Losing even some rural black belt counties in the South, in Georgia and South Carolina, Alabama, losing a few counties in Mississippi that normally go to the Democrat, Louisiana losing almost every county in that state, in Missouri holding on to 3 counties, but just narrowly. In Florida, losing Palm Beach County and having very narrow margins in Miami-Dade. Losing a lot of the suburbs and some of the counties in Colorado. Not really losing too much ground in Arizona, but the margins were what was the killer there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I have some upcoming, just to talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff. Not this Friday, whatever this Friday is, I think it's the 14th. Not the 14th, but the next Friday. I'm going to be going over the 2020 Democrat primary using the same place I got that county map from. Because I think that'll be interesting, and I've got a lot of candidates I think might actually consider a run or might it have been mentioned, and I'll just assume that they all run, and I'll kind of go through, how the primary season kind of works, right? This Friday there will not be a video, so I'm just going to do a video on Wednesday, and that will be Russ Feingold versus Donald Trump. Russ Feingold is a former senator from Wisconsin. I think that could be I think that may be a good matchup, and I'll also talk about Tammy Baldwin at some point as well, because I think that might be an interesting matchup. I'm still working on setting up some software and stuff like that to make sure that I can actually live stream well, I guess, and also cleaning my office for a lot of reasons, so that I can actually maybe start to live stream occasionally. Because apparently that is something you guys may be interested in, and maybe that'll allow me to talk to you guys. I also need to figure out how to actually read chat when I'm streaming. But I'll give you guys some interaction with me, so I am definitely considering doing that. And of course, lastly, on October 17th, I'm going to be starting Let's Play of the new South Park game just because I've wanted to, and no one's going to stop me. And I think that's actually Monday, next Monday, so if you don't want to watch that, don't watch it. If you want to watch it, I don't care. I'm only really playing it because I want to play it, and I'm recording it because I want to record it. In other news, I'm seriously considering maybe starting a Patreon account, but that'll be more or less based off of what you guys think I should do. So if you guys think I should start a Patreon, go ahead, start a Patreon. Or not start a, what am I talking about? But if you guys want me to start a Patreon, I can do that. If you don't, well, that's cool too. But, at some point I probably will, depending on how much the channel grows, because I have seen a decent amount of growth in the past couple of weeks and past couple of months. So I think if my growth continues at the rate I've been seeing, I think it may be actually worth my time. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and, well, I will see you guys next time, and take it easy.